On this year's radar of inevitable remakes that either massively improve upon or massively disappoint from their originals, Final Fantasy VII especially gave me the willies for how pretty it looked. Final Fantasy XV, for its shortcomings, did have a lot of good things to remember, and I especially fell in love with the combat system. So to see something like that along with massive graphical improvements, FFVIIR PS4 was really shaping up to be something special. Unfortunately, as it turned out, the special part was the same kind of special your mom had to tell your elementary school teachers about you. That is, it's slow. Like, really slow. You ever played Kingdom Hearts before? No? Well, the game goes like this. Oh, hello, Cloud. Why, hello there, Tifa. Anyways, we should get back to it. Imagine that in every cutscene, save the pre-rendered ones, and then try convincing yourself to take that noose down after 40 hours. And you know what? The pre-rendered cutscenes are still bad. Wow, that's crazy, Final Fantasy. Are you telling me that the big green energy is important? It's almost like I haven't been told by every major character about 1 trillion times that very same thing. After you get through the utter boredom of sitting through the same dialogue around the 100th time, you start to realize, wait, does this game have a plot? I don't know about you, but usually there are, things happening that influence what the characters do. I suppose the developers wanted to make the runtime longer than it took the UN to do anything about the Rwandan genocide. But therein lies the problem with genocide. It takes a really long time. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the plot. Well, everything moves for about 10 minutes at a time before Cloud is thrust into another world of, can you go get my wallet that I dropped about 5 paces to the right, and other level 1 D&D quests, which drag out these long sequences where you wish you were doing something that actually mattered. In all seriousness, the developers likely included these little escapades to pad out the runtime and make consumers feel like their purchase was worth it, when in reality it's a sorry excuse for making half of the actual game. Oh yeah, and given that half of this game is padding, you've got yourself about a quarter game there, pal. But chin up, you've got the special Smell Our Farts pre-order bonus. Money well spent. I feel genuinely envious of people that can actually enjoy this, let alone feel like they're getting their money's worth. And believe me, I'm not one of those guys that goes into a game wanting to not like it. There's a good deal of charm that the first 2/3 of the game work in, along with the usual watching paint dry, but most of it goes overshadowed by the sour taste the game left in my mouth. The ending is about as obvious as a wait a bit and buy part 2 maneuver can get, given the sheer amount of nothing that happens. And at the end of it all, I was sat there wondering why there was this void feeling in the pit of my stomach, when I realized there was never anything there in the first place, and that I had all but preemptively written the game in my own head. So when the game failed to deliver anything meaningful or get me to care about the characters, there was no real loss. Well, besides the shame and regret for shelling out $60 for a glorified demo. It sounds like my biggest problem is that the game is in 2, hopefully, parts rather than the game itself. But it's my firm belief that if they just, remade the whole game in 1, we'd be left far less filler, and give it an actual plot that reads a little faster than War and Peace. Shame is, the combat's actually pretty good, and has a fun enough balance between the real-time fighting of FFXV, along with the more classical command system. Even still, the game falls victim to the classic villain does not die because they cannot die yet trope ever present in games with no direction. They spend all this time introducing the next named bad guy only for you to wipe the floor with him in 3 minutes, but I'll get you next time, you go-getter, as their inexplicably appearing helicopter drags them away to their next masochist support group therapy session. Now, I don't know about you, but I generally like thinking the time and effort we spend should pay off at some point in life. But this game seems to be a firm believer in the make-your-own-fun sort of ideology that doesn't really work when your definition of fun isn't exactly where the game wants you to go. I feel bad ranting about this. After all, it has pretty great graphics and no doubt developers that put in effort and care into what they made. But to quote Arthur Morgan, it weren't us that changed.